All right, let's try this take two.
Cool.
So it says they're receiving our content.
Nice.
You are live, is what it says. So people can see us, even though I can't
All right.
find my own thing. But I'm gonna take its word for it.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm ready.
Cool. Well, hello everybody. This is something I did a couple years ago, and it just never took off, so I wanted to do it again. I've been wanting to do a podcast for a while. This right here is this is my boy Matt
Hi,
Pritt down
guys.
here, and
Hey.
this is just kind of an experimental thing. I'm gonna eventually move podcasts to a different channel, but the first one we wanted to do on here, and we're gonna do 50% educational and 50% just banter and talking about things and working title right now is going to be laughing and learning. That's up for that's up for debate.
I like
But
it.
anyways, I do want to make sure we're live because I can't see it on my own channel. Okay, here we go. I see it. 8 people. I 8 people watching, man.
Hey, guys.
Um,
Thanks for hanging out with us.
so all right, I guess I finally got that working.
Oh, dude, you are alive. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
got
you
it
see.
pulled up
Okay,
right
there we
here.
go. So what we're gonna do today is a topic I want to do for a while. I wanted to do a video on this, so I figured I'm gonna make the first podcast episode about data storage through the ages, which is just how has data been stored, how is it going to be stored in the future, and various facts about it. So Matt, what would you consider the
Got him.
first form of data storage ever? What do you think that was?
Uh, Probably just like those rocks that people used to like make markings on, right? I mean,
That's a good answer. That's older
just like some
than
stone tablets back in the day.
yeah, exactly. That is data storage. Some people would argue that technically it's DNA because
Okay.
DNA in your body is a form of data storage. I think that's a little excessive. I think the fair answer is yours, which is cave paintings and things like that. And that's basically been that was data storage for the first few thousand years of human civilization. So we're going to basically skip to the technology stuff, which is
Come on, man.
digital data storage, because
Let's
everything
let's
before
start with the
that.
caves.
What?
Let's start with the caves, bro. What do you have on the caves?
Oh, I didn't really get anything on the caves. This is a tech channel, not a caveman channel, man.
All right, all right. Well, the
Just
next
because you
channel will
look
be
like
a
one.
caveman channel.
Okay, we'll do cavemen next episode.
All right.
So there's two types of data storage when we get into the technological age, and it's analog and digital. And of course, analog was first, which was basically the first one would have to be the record player. You could argue, cameras and things like that, but I don't think a picture that a camera takes is all that different from writing. Like the
Okay.
storage medium is still just a picture.
Sure. Yeah,
So
yeah. That makes sense.
I wanted to ask you, a lot of people swear that records sound so much better than CDs. As someone who's in a band, does that ring true to you?
Um, I don't know, man. I mean, I guess I can see like where that could come from. Like a record has like a warmth. It has it probably I don't know, it probably hits on people's nostalgia as well. But at the same time, I feel like technology has come so far that I don't know if I could 100% agree, you know.
I've never been able to tell the difference, even back in the day. And they're
The
saying
records definitely have like that crackle and you feel like you're at grandma's house. Like my dad used to have a record player that was passed down, and
really.
yeah, 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 and it I mean it had like a cool sound. Um, but yeah, I mean I feel like arguing against technology and like the innovations in music is kind of tough, but I could see like the nostalgia factor to it.
I've never been able to tell the difference. It's the technology is interesting. Basically, analog has the advantage of, the main way I've kind of described the difference to myself is that analog is something that's an actual sound that is amplified, whereas digital is something that tells a device how to make the sound.
Okay.
So when you store something in digital, it all comes down to ones and zeros and stuff, and then you're basically telling your speakers how to rebuild that. With a record, they basically have a little sensitive thing that, as sound hits the microphone, it puts little divots into the material, and then you do that in reverse, and it plays the sound back.
That is insane.
Yeah, and this is kind of how I visualize the difference, is that analogs, with sound anyways, you have like an infinite thing right here with analog. There's no, it's just a complete gradient.
Okay.
Oh man, we're covering that up a bit. Whereas with digital, it's either this sound or this sound or this sound or this sound. So you have the same range, but the specifics are cut up here. And obviously digital sound has way more than, 10 or 12. It's got hundreds, millions and stuff. But when people say they can tell like a finer sound, this is what they're talking about. Is that,
Okay.
yeah. So imagine 10 million of these boxes versus theoretically like infinite down to, the physical molecules maybe or whatever.
Yeah.
So the problem with analog is that even though it has advantages with things like that, and also with amplifiers, you're amplifying a sound, what it's got the problem with is reliability. Because, for example, this versus this is clearly defined. So if you wanted to do something like, let's say you're typing in a Word document, you want an A to be an A, and a B to be a B. You don't want there to be something that's halfway between A and B.
Any like muddying of the two.
Because it's, as information, it's only functional if each character is exactly what it is.
Okay.
Right. And so that's why binary and all in digital and all that is used. And I have a video on that.
I watched that.
You what?
I watched that video.
I hope you did.
And you know what, dude? It's so over my head. It's insane.
Oh.
The ones and zeros. Get out of here, bro.
All right. Well, let's summarize by saying, in order to have a digital medium of storage, you need something that can store stuff that's either on or off.
Okay.
One of the earliest forms with computers were punch cards, and that's what these were. Is they had computers that basically, kind of like the old standardized tests from school, is they would feed them through these things that would read lights, and whichever holes were punched out was the number in question, and that's how you wrote a program.
Yeah, it looks like a Scantron.
Yeah, exactly. And then eventually we got to cassette tapes, which use magnetic strips, which, explaining the technology behind that would be that'd be a whole video on its own. But to summarize, cassettes were standard until, I got to look at my notes here. They became the standard in the 70s, and pretty much remained the standard all the way up until the mid 90s.
That's a long time.
I remember having cassettes when I was really young.
Yeah, me too. They're also like a lot of this analog stuff is making like major comebacks. Like I know that like my brother-in-law, he has he kind of makes like guitar pedals, and he's been using like a cassette as like a looper, and I don't really understand how it works, and I'd love to get into that at some point as well. But
a cassette, really?
Yeah, he uses a cassette tape, and dude, I would never be able to explain it to you. It's it's way above my head, but yeah, it's really interesting, and a lot of I feel like a lot of the analog stuff is making a comeback. Also, I mean, just like the record players, like all of that stuff is making a comeback as well. It's really interesting.
I have noticed the record player thing. They're they're making them again, like modern ones.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Also, digital storage devices do have the advantage of being a little more resilient to time than analog things, because physical imperfections on analog can actually affect the sound, whereas digital, if you get like a scratch on it or something, it kind of just, it ruins the whole thing. But if you don't, it's maintained. Trying to, floppy disks are also, this is like cassettes, is like, I barely remember these. we had them a bit when I was really young, and my dad was a computer geek, so he, we had them even as in the 90s. Did you ever have to use these in school and stuff?
Yeah, I was gonna say when you you texted me earlier this week, and you kind of gave me a heads up on what we were going to be talking about today, and you told me we were going to be talking about floppy disks, and it reminded me of I think I was in middle school, and like just in like the regular like computer classes. Who knows what we were learning about? I don't even think we were learning how to type yet, but we were just on computers. I had a classmate who got his finger stuck in a floppy disk drive one time. His name was Brian.
He got his finger stuck in it?
He got his finger stuck in a floppy drive.
How is it that was his finger just like was he a duck?
I think he got to
How do you
the
get your finger in
point.
it?
I think he got to the point like where like you shouldn't keep trying to stick your finger into a floppy drive, and he said like I'm gonna keep going, and he kept pushing his finger into the floppy drive, and then he realized I can't get it out. And how, like you kind of have this like claustrophobic like moment of like panic. He just like pulled his finger out, blood. I don't even want to get into it.
Oh man.
But anyways, when you told me we were going to be talking about floppy disks, I immediately went to poor Brian.
Well,
poor
Matt,
Brian in middle school.
Let's get down to the important part here. Was the disk drive okay?
It never took another finger again.
Oh,
That was they had to retire that floppy disk drive, and it never took a single finger.
This kind of looks like a finger, right? It looks like it's giving me the finger. See that little, little thing?
Yeah, man, it needs to calm down. The other thing I thought of is how it's still like the icon for like saving things. I don't know if this is like something that you're going to get to.
Well, I was going to, yeah, but I was going to get to it right now.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's been interesting to me. Is that something that we don't use anymore? Must have had such like a major impact that it's still used, and it's still like a universal thing of like, this is how you save something.
Right. And also CDs are still like a lot of times the music symbol, like a CD, a compact disc.
Yeah, that's true.
So the thing that replaced floppy disks and cassette tapes really were CDs. And CDs I love because they remind me of the conscious days of my youth. And they came to prevalence kind of in around 95 and stayed relatively useful until around 2010 when everything could, became online. You could download everything. But CDs, the way they work, and I do want to make a video on this eventually, it's very different than the way hard drives work. Because they made one on hard drives, and CDs work differently. They basically just have a bunch of tiny little mirrors on the shiny side.
Yeah.
And each one is like a little tiny region that is perfectly reflective. And CD readers shine a laser onto them and then check to see whether the laser is reflected back. When you're writing the data to a CD, whether it's the music or anything, it takes the laser and literally burns out some of the mirrors. So like fries them so that they don't reflect anymore. And when you have that, you've got some mirrors that reflect and then some that don't. You have binary. Okay. Because you have one, you can have something that represents a 1, something that represents a 0.
We're back to binary, huh?
Yeah, we're back to binary. This is digital. This is digital. Okay. So if you got 1s and 0s, you got digital info. And the way CDs accomplish that is by shining a little laser down and then seeing, okay, did it reflect or not for that billionth of a second? Did I pick up on that? So that way it knows which ones are bits and which ones are pits. Bits are reflections. That's a 1. And then a pit is no reflection. That's a 0. So that is also where the term burning a CD comes from.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Because it's literally burning.
It's actually burning it.
And it's also why CDs couldn't be rewritten. You remember if you burned a CD, That's what
yeah.
it was.
Some of them you could though, right? Like they made later like rewritable CDs.
They did. And those used, there were actually a lot of ways they could do that. Some of them used the same method as hard drives, which we'll get to. But there was also the reason you couldn't save stuff to CDs. Anyone who like played video games back in the day, Nintendo 64 and anything with a cartridge, you could save on that game. So your data was on that. Whereas with things like PlayStation and anything that used a disc, you had to have a memory card.
Okay.
And it's for the same reason, because once they wrote the program information onto the disc, that's all that was there. You couldn't make a save or delete a save or any of that.
Okay.
Because discs are not rewritable.
Nice.
So we're still into digital here. Really quickly, we'll go over hard drives. And I made a video on this, so I won't go too far into them. But instead of mirrors, they have little magnetic regions. And I yanked an example from one of my videos here. It's like these little tiny magnetic regions, and they can be basically
This is a hard drive?
What's that?
This is a hard drive?
Sort of. It's the idea. If you like zoomed really close to the disc. And it would have these tiny little regions which can be magnetically charged or not charged. So imagine putting a bunch of little magnets there.
Yeah.
And the arm goes back around, and if it reads a pole, that's a 1. If it doesn't, that's a 0. Digital info, good to go. You gotta watch my binary video a few times till you get it. You'll get it.
Dude, so I
Juice
watched
up my
it
views
once
a bit,
twice.
man.
I think I just need to watch it a few more times. Ones and zeros. That's insane that you can get so much information from 2 numbers.
Yeah. Two values. Ones and zeros are imaginary. That's just how we represent them.
Okay.
I won't confuse you.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate you picking like a subject that I don't know anything about.
Well, I'm just
here for the ride, dude.
The technical aspect is we're kind of getting to the end of the basically what we're on now is flash memory. So flash drives, solid state drives, probably what's in your phone. I don't think phones have spinning disks. They might. I should probably.
I've got a Nextel.
A what?
Nextel.
Oh, is that your phone's name?
No, I'm just kidding.
A Next.
That's like those are the old school phones that was like beep beep. Like you could it was like the walkie-talkie phone back in the day.
Like in the Matrix. They like flipped up.
Yeah, they were kind of like the brick phones, but like you literally like I think you could do like star and then 3 numbers, and you could like walkie-talkie anyone like at random. Like my brother was a hoodlum back in the day, and he would do like star however many numbers, and then just start singing into the phone. And like you can't like if you're on the receiving end, you can't not accept it. It's just gonna like you're just gonna have like this loud obnoxious voice in your pocket, and you have no idea that it's coming. Like it's not answering the call or anything. It's just like somebody's in your pocket.
But they weren't walkie-talkies. They were phones.
They were both kind of. I mean, it was like you could call someone on the phone, but also like on the side of the phone was like a walkie-talkie button that like you could dial the right. I think it's, dude, it's been so long, but I feel like it's obviously like it's a different number to do the walkie-talkie than to call someone. We should look into this because I completely forgot how Nextels work.
We should get some.
Dude, we should get some Nextels.
That way we can have conversations that we can spy on.
Yeah. And I'm like, you're gonna be asleep one night, and I'm just gonna beep beep.
Oh god. No, see, like I can take the batteries out, right? It's not like it's permanently on.
Actually, I don't know. Maybe the Nextel's like so old school that like you can't even take the battery out.
I might have to think twice about getting one of those.
That's okay. I don't think they make them anymore.
So, got a little interesting thing here. which is these are just the different sizes of floppy disk readers. So this is
Readers.
what your friend got his finger cut up by, was all this stuff.
If he made it that far.
Yeah. And then finally, we're going to do a little bit of trivia here.
Awesome.
So we're getting into the realm of, this is what blows my mind every time I think about it, is how cheap data storage has gotten and how much you can store on a hard drive now. When I was young, I remember I had the first StarCraft, and my parents kept making me delete it because it took up so much space on our hard drive. And it was like half a gig, I think. It was like nothing.
Nice.
And back then, a lot of hard drives had 20 or 30 bucks, or 20 or 30 gigs at the most. That was decent. A song is like 5 megabytes. There's
Right.
1,000 megabytes in a gig. So you had, 30 gigs. And nowadays it's like, I just ordered a few months ago, I got a hard drive for $60 that has 3,000 gigabytes on it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So you guys had 30 gigs and your half gig got in the way?
I think it might have been even less than 30 gigs, but your operating system takes up a lot of space too. So you have to have, if you have a 30 gig hard drive, maybe 10 or 20 of that is just your operating system.
Okay.
I think. I remember it being a big deal that I had StarCraft. It was like, and this was this old game from the 90s. This is a log linear graph. So this is the
I know
price
exactly what that is.
It means, so this is just time. Each of these is just 5 years, but this is this side is exponential. So 1 cent, 10 cent, dollar, $10, $100. So this is like, this side is exponential.
Oh, so it got way cheaper over time.
Yeah. So it went from the price of a single gigabyte, typically back in the 1980s, would have been about $100,000 for a gig of storage. And then over time, it just took this. It ends in 2010 at about 10 cents. It's even lower than that now. So I got mine for, I could do the math in my head, but it's probably kept up this same decline. So data is just so easy to store now. It's so cheap because the technology just kept feeding back off itself. They would use technology to make better tech. And here we are now where you don't even have to think about taking pictures on your phone. I mean, you could have tens of thousands of pictures on your phone. No big deal.
Yeah. And also, I don't want to skip ahead, but the cloud.
Yeah.
I mean, like you don't even need to have the storage on your phone.
Right. It's stored on servers elsewhere and just accessed to it, which they're storing a bunch. This is so my hard drive I just got has 3,000 gigabytes. If you had to guess, Matt, how much storage do you think there is in the entire world, all added together? So everyone's phone, everyone's hard drive, every server, all added together. How many gigabytes of storage do you think we got?
Your computer has 3,000?
One of my hard drives does. My computer as a whole has
one of them.
my computer as a whole has, I think, 12,000.
All right. Give me a second. I'm gonna.
Hey, don't Google it.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna. Hang on a second. Let me just look up the answer.
Yeah. What is this?
All right. No. All right. I wasn't gonna look it up. I was gonna look up just like the population. Like what's the U.S. population?
The U.S. population is about 350 million.
Oh my God.
The world population is between 7 and 8 billion. But not everyone has a computer like mine. So
a lot of us have computers like mine, which is just your plain man's computer, huh?
Yeah.
Yours has 3,000. Let's go with 4.9. Stay with me. 6 billion.
6 billion.
4.976 billion.
So
is what I said.
Your
You're
Not
really gonna
cl-
make me look this crazy in front of all your subscribers,
well,
Adam.
this blew me away too. So the total amount, and keep in mind, a lot of this is probably servers and hard, like at Facebook, because that's all data storage.
Oh my
The
God.
answer is 20 trillion gigabytes, and this is what
No, that's
this is.
exactly what I was gonna say next.
Okay, I figured it's because this is 3
Yeah.
billion is like around here, so you were getting there. You were close.
Yeah, give me 6 billion more guesses and I would have had it.
So 20 trillion. This is roughly the amount of hairs in Matt's beard. So a decent amount.
Yeah, and that doesn't even touch. Never mind.
Oh yeah, I mean the hair on your
I won't
body.
even get into it.
We don't have enough space on the whole thing for that. You got
Yeah. We won't get into that.
20 trillion gigs of data storage, and this is actually the lower end estimates. They think there could be far more. They're expecting that by the year 2025, this number right here will be 150. So it'll be 150 trillion.
So, you say they think, is that because it's changing so often? Or like how do we not why don't we know?
Well, it's just a projection based on current trends. So they looked 10 years ago, we had this much, and
Okay.
it's the same as this. They're predicting the exponential growth. So a lot of data out there. Here we go. So, oh come on. So I'm going to ask you another question. This is going to be a true or
Yeah.
false. True or
Yeah,
false?
yeah.
Facebook, the company, has a data center located
Haven't heard of it.
in the Arctic. Did I make that up? Is that a fact, Matt?
Okay, so this is just true or false.
True or false?
I would say they do because it helps cool down all of their overheated servers.
That is exactly correct.
Dude.
You are 100% right about that. They also
I
have
guess it kinda
access
makes
to a hydroelectric dam there because of running water, and they found out it would be cheaper to build one there because they can just use the outside air to cool their servers. That's totally right.
Man, happy to be here, bro.
I know
Happy
you
to be
looked
here.
that up. I know you looked that up.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to talk about, as long as we're, as different types of storage have like changed, the kind of art around them has changed. And I know you probably are a connoisseur of album covers.
Uh, yeah.
There's a big art to like making someone want to buy music based off
Yeah.
of a picture.
Big time.
And that's kind of gone away. I mean, you can still see them, I guess, on iTunes, right? I don't really use online music shopping.
Yeah, Spotify. I mean, like it's still kind of a thing, but you're not like walking through Best Buy, seeing what strikes your fancy, and
Yeah.
then picking that up. I think at this point, people pretty much know what they want to listen to, anyways.
That's true.
But okay, so what are you getting at here?
Well, what I'm getting at, Matt, is I pulled some album covers from random obscure bands, and I want you to guess based off of the album cover what the name of that album is. I blurred it out, and
What does this have to do with floppy disks?
it doesn't. It has to do with compact discs, CDs.
All right. Okay,
Floppy
all right,
disks
no, I'm
didn't.
in.
Floppy disks didn't have album covers.
I'll give it a go.
So, take a look at this. What do you think the name of this album is?
Crows on a Sandbank.
Grows on a sandbank?
Crows on a Sandbank, Volume 2. I'm not sure what the lady in the red dress has to do with it, but I'd say normally with an album cover like this, I'd say Crows on a Sandbank. And then probably one of the songs has to do with like the lady in the red dress. But that's just me.
All right. Well, the name is Walk the Sky. And I'm an idiot, so I forgot to de-blur the band name for my second image. So your guess is as good as mine on that. I have no idea what the name is. With the other ones, now this one,
no. Oh, that's what it is. The band name is Crows on a Sandbank, and the album is Walk the Sky.
That's probably what it is. So you get a point. You get a point.
That's where I got confused.
Right. All right. Well, what about this one? What about this little album cover?
That's hard drive cost per gigabyte. Ooh.
Gonna have to.
We're hugging. We're intertwined. We're faithful.
We're headless.
Don't have any problems. Everything's fine, and we're headless.
We're headless.
We're headless, and we're hugging. United we stand. Divided. United we're headless. Divided we. I think just like headless lovers, probably. I'm just gonna forget the other stuff and just go with headless lovers.
Headless lovers. Let's see.
Yeah.
Catfish and the Bottlemen is the band name, and the album seems to be Cocoon.
No, I think you have no.
That's it. That's what it is.
No.
So, maybe I don't know. Maybe this
like,
is the album. Strictly speaking, does the album have to be at the bottom?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Where? I know that you're not a big Catfish and the Bottlemen fan. Where did you find this?
I just searched Google Images for album covers.
You just typed in Google Images album covers.
Yeah. So for all I knew, these could be like ones that were really famous that you were gonna know. But
yeah, dude.
I guess you're not a big music guy. I mean, I thought you were a good big music guy.
I'm more of like a Catfish and the Bottlemen kind of guy, but Cocoon, never would have gotten that one. I think Headless Lovers, they should probably reconsider.
I would be probably more inclined to buy a band called Headless Lovers.
Yeah.
Than Catfish.
Yeah.
Well,
you would be inclined by a band named the Headless Lovers?
Inclined to buy a band.
Okay.
With that album or that band name.
Got it. With an album name or a band name, Headless Lovers, you're in.
Yeah. I mean, you guys should maybe make your album that. I don't know if you have a name.
Headless Lovers.
Yeah. You still need a name, right?
Yeah.
This one I actually did know. This is one of my favorite artists.
All right. So this is your favorite artist. It's that. Was it like 1994? Sandra Bullock did. If it's one of your favorite lovers, if it's one of your favorite albums, it's either Sandra Bullock.
What? Who is Sandra Bullock?
I don't know. I think she's like an actress or something. Not an actual thing. See, so what I've learned so far is that the picture doesn't mean anything. Because clearly you've got 10 fingers and the number 10. So if you know what, I'm going to go for it because I think I know what this is.
Oh, really?
Already. I think I know what this is already. It's 10 fingers, 2 hands to the sky. That's what it is.
No. Huh? This is Powers of 10 by Sean Lane.
Okay, well, actually, I was kind of close.
You got one word right.
I was kind of close. That's closer than any of the other ones so far.
You got one word out of 5 right, so that is 20% correct. So,
hey,
20%. That's an A. That's an A.
20% and buying the paper towels for art class is what got me through high school. So, you know what? I'll take it right now. That's fine.
What got you through high school? 20%.
Yeah. Tell me if you can relate to this. One time, I'm just going to get into a story. One time we had this like major art project that was due, and I hadn't even started it. And it was like an art project that was like supposed to be started like at the beginning of class or the beginning of the semester, and it was due at the end of the semester. I hadn't even started it. And on the day that it was due, I told my mom like, I'm not feeling good. I don't really want to go in. And my teacher like knew what was up, and she called my mom, and they said that if I brought in paper towels, that they would extend my due date. But I'm not saying any teachers, and I'm not saying any schools.
If you brought in paper towels?
Yeah, it was an art class. So they were like, all right, you know what? If you bring in some paper towels, because
Oh.
I guess back in that time, our art class was short on some paper towels, so they were willing to make a deal.
So you
And
were
I brought
donating
in some
art
paper towels.
supplies.
Yeah, it's also a very small town. So it was like, oh, that Matt, he's a good kid, but he just didn't even start his art project.
I mean, right now you could probably get most of your grades turned around by donating paper towels because they're a hot commodity.
That is
You
true
know,
as well.
you were ahead of the curve. You were 10 years ahead of your
I
time.
was. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I guess what I'm getting at is 20% in paper towels will get you through any situation.
There you go. I thought
Maybe
you were going to
that's what
tell me
we could
about
name
when
this.
when Luke did something similar with his art project.
with with his 20% in paper towels.
Well, Matt, it's time to do a little review tonight. We've learned a
Yeah.
lot. We've learned about several different types of data storage, and
Mhm.
I wanted to see if you could look at a silhouette of a storage device and tell me what is that silhouette. What is this? What storage device? I want you to think about what we've covered here, and just what do you think this is?
I don't remember at any point talking about donuts tonight.
Well, you said donut, and it is a donut. I thought you were gonna say CD. You beat me. You ruined it. You beat me.
I can't believe.
You beat me. You beat me in my own stupidity, man.
I can't believe that I just I got you, man.
You got me. This is, of course, a storage device for jelly and sometimes Bavarian cream. But let's be serious here for 1 minute.
Yeah.
What kind of device is this? You know, if you think back to your childhood, we were talking about it a bit.
Zelda Shield.
Zelda Shield. It it does look like that. It does. It looks like a Hylian shield.
Or is this just a cube? Is just a box? Is this just a box?
No, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Man, I'm gonna have to do better.
I'm on to your game.
You're on to me. I really thought I was gonna be having the last laugh there, but
Not today, buddy.
man, I gotta watch out for you.
Well,
Go
here's
ahead.
the thing. I grew up on donuts and boxes, and if you try to hide a donut or a box from me, I'll know what it is.
You'll know what it is. I'll never
Yeah.
doubt you again.
Do you have another
I
uh,
don't know. I don't.
a dessert silhouette that I could?
No. You did great on those. You didn't do well on the album covers, but you killed me on the silhouettes.
How
So,
how is that the only thing that I was good at tonight is guessing a donut? That's okay.
it's better than being good at nothing. So,
I don't know how many gigs of storage there are in the world, but if you have
that's true.
a
You
silhouette
don't.
of a dessert, guaranteed I'll be able to tell you what that dessert is.
Oh yeah.
Flan, cheesecake.
I'll take you up on
Um,
that next time. I'm gonna have so many desserts. I'm gonna have desserts you've never heard
okay,
of. What is your favorite
I
dessert?
know, I know them all. What's my favorite?
Yeah,
Dude, you're gonna ask me this in front of all your subscribers.
I
I'm gonna
am.
get so much hate.
I
But here
am.
goes nothing. Key lime pie.
What pie?
The pie de la key lime is
Key,
my favorite.
that's
It's
key
got that
lime.
key lime pie. Do you know what key lime pie is?
I don't.
Dude.
Like you're talking like limes, like Bud Light lime?
No, they're key limes. It's a different fruit.
Really?
it's kind of like cheesecake, but it's tart. It's like the consistency of a cheesecake, but it's very tart. I can't believe I'm describing key lime pie to you.
I've never had it. No.
Maybe there are others that have never heard of key lime pie that are finding out about this for the first time. If you don't know what key lime pie is,
I'm gonna look at our chat and see here.
Yeah, can you check the chat, guys? Can you help me out?
Okay, here we go. So is it spelled Keylime?
It's two words. It's Keylime. Key lime pie.
Well, this guy is referring to Kelime pie.
No,
So,
he's talking about Kaleem pie. I know Kaleem pie. I went to high school with that
Kaleem
guy.
pie is a person you went to high school with.
Yeah,
So,
Kaleem pie.
All right, cool. Well,
Dude, some people are saying that it's really really gross. Well, my second favorite is pecan. I'm a pie guy. So.
oh, and you're also one of those guys who says pecans
Yes.
and not pecan.
Yeah, a lot of people say pecorn. I don't say pecorn pie.
Pecorn pie.
I know a lot of those people say pecorn pie. I actually say pecan.
Perkin pie. We are from North Carolina. To our listeners, we say things differently. Pecorn pie. Pecorn pie.
We say pecan, but I feel like the rest of the world says pecorn.
And no one says pecan except me, apparently. Pecan. Pecan just sounds like a can that you use to go to the bathroom in. So, I'm sorry I messed something up here. So, Matt, how do you feel about your knowledge about storage devices? You think it increased or decreased tonight?
I think wholeheartedly. You know what? The coolest thing that I learned was about the CDs, and that burning a CD
really?
is just that.
It is.
That is super interesting. I'm glad I now know that. Especially because CDs are such a huge thing.
I do want to make a video out of that. That's another one of those videos I've been putting off for 50 years.
Yeah, you should, man. I've seen like a lot of your subscribers want you to post more frequently. So
yeah.
And I would love to do this with you again as well.
Yeah, anytime. I've got other channels. I might make a channel dedicated to this entirely. And if anybody has any ideas of what they would want to see, this is very early stages. We definitely need to work out some of the kinks with just audio and video and get cool stuff in our background like all the other podcasts. But
we're just kind of having fun right now. But I think the goal would be to have a separate channel and to continue doing this. We'd love more feedback on that.
And this is not going to get in the way of regular uploads. I'm not switching to podcasts permanently. I know a lot of channels do that. That is not what I'm doing. This is just something I want to do in addition to the main channel, which is going to keep going. Thank you again. I've said this before, but thank you so much to everybody. I just passed 80,000 subs. I've had a huge surge in views recently, I think, with the lockdown occurring, and it seems to be maintaining. So everything's been going great on the channel. And someone said they want to see your chest hair, Matt. I don't know if I can approve that as the moderator. I don't want to get taken down for copyright.
Yeah. I guess you'll have to stay tuned for the next episode.
There you go. Every episode, you might.
Every episode,
see
a button
Matt's
comes
hair
down slightly.
Yeah, you might see it. Every episode, you get a chance.
You might see it.
So you'll just have to watch every episode to know.
Except every episode, my beard gets a little bit lower, so like you're not seeing any more chest hair. It's just kind of staying the same.
Is your chest hair just a continuation of your beard? It just keeps going?
Oh yeah, I mean it starts at the top of my head and it just goes down to my toes.
So you have to shave this part of your face just to be able to see out, or it would just be like big.
Twice a day, I shave this part of my face, including. Actually, I always wear this hat, but I only shave this much, so it looks like I have a forehead. And then the rest of this, it's kind of interesting because I get to like detail my eyebrows and whatnot. But I have fun with it, dude.
Oh, so you just leave your eyebrows. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like a lot of people already have eyebrows. Mine's just a continuation, but I kind of have to like shape them.
that's just
Uh,
wild.
we'll get into it
That's
later.
wild. Yeah, that's wild. I'd love. We'll have to film that sometime because I don't believe you, to be honest. I don't think you're telling me the truth.
Yeah. Well,
Well, Matt, I had a great time researching, doing. I guess this is technically episode 4 because I did 3 of these 2 years ago.
yes, but
And
they're
you
not
know,
public, right?
they're not public because of a lot of reasons. One of them actually got taken down for copyright
That's
because
fine.
I used a video of an elephant trying to get out of a hole, and they took it down. But
As anyone would.
as anyone,
As anyone would.
hate elephants apparently.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out, guys.
Always a pleasure. And we will see you next time here or on the new channel, which I will link in the description.